A's won in PSL. Um, Yesterday, welcome back. Yesterday, I did a video on veterans information that had a lot of information and was sprung on because I went to the VA and there was quite a few guys there that were older than me. So when I said this information, a handful told me that they didn't know it. So I felt good that I did do that, and then I decided um, put out the information. So if you get a chance, check the video before this one. It's called Vets Social Security and Vets Information, something close to that. I appreciate you coming back. Please like and subscribe. Today's video is about working anti-crime in the detective division, plainclothes booth stakeouts out on the J line in Brooklyn, Brooklyn bordering Queens or something. I always have trouble picking that up. But anyway, I'm on the J line. We're doing booth stakeouts. There's a couple of guys that are driving around, and they're using a sledgehammer to commit a booth holdup, and they also carry a long rifle, at least one. So as we're doing these booth stakeouts, we're probably a team of I'm guessing about 10 to 15 officers. We had senior detectives working, and of course we had supervisors working, and we all got paired up into vehicles. The problem I had in my particular post where I got paired up was that you couldn't park underneath the train station because none of the businesses were open. It was the block was quiet, businesses, everything. So if you would have parked out there and you had to run your car every now and then because it was winter, you would have gave yourself away, and everybody would have definitely stayed away from that station. So we had to find a spot where we can watch the station without being seen from it. So command staff came up with a better solution. The clerk was going to be monitored through his emergency comm system over at J Street by a detective that was going to sit there and listen to different speakers. And each speaker represented a train station. So his job was in a well-ventilated, a transit authority room with other people there. His job was to sit there and listen, and you can hear the conversations. You can hear the clerk saying, "How many, please? Here's the change." You can hear normal back and forth conversations on each speaker if there was any transactions. If there wasn't, then you might hear the clerk on his little radio or, talking on the phone or whatever. So this is before beepers and cell phones. I mean, like the booth phone. We called it the booth phone. I think that might be the official name, and that allowed you to call within the transit system, so clerks can call each other and chat the night away if they wanted to. And then if we, as a patrol officer, needed to use the phone because the kids had broken the payphone, as I covered in a previous video, the kids knew to break our payphone because we had to make rings, and you can't make your ring every couple of hours if there's no payphone. You can go upstairs and search for one in the street, but you might, depending on what station and what part of the city you was in, you may not find one. If you did, you may find it broken also. The kids didn't mind breaking the payphones, the handle, so you couldn't use it. So anyway, back to this guy. His job was to monitor the booths, and then there was about, I'm guessing because this is quite a few years ago, this is mid 80s. So I'm trying to give you the best facts possible. But it's mid 80s, um, and we're all assigned. Now we're all depending on this guy to tell us, because he's going to hear either the glass breaking, the door breaking. He's going to hear the guy announce the holdup and give me all your money, MF or whatever. He's going to hear that. That's his job, to sit there and monitor these booths. So he had a cushy assignment. The rest of us were on the road and we didn't mind. We were prepared to take down this team. Mentally prepared, physically prepared. We're working night shifts. We're drinking coffee or whatever we need, but we're prepared. The only thing is, unfortunately, because the way the situation was situated, usually we cover the station from a closer distance so we can see the guys get out of the car. We can see them going upstairs with the sledgehammer or the rifle or whatever. But we miss all that because we had to hide. It was cold. We had to run the van every couple of minutes just to keep the temperature legit for us. We're all bundled up, but still, you have to, it's a long night. It's not, a 1 or 2 hour operation. Pretty much you're out there for the whole shift. And you don't want to leave your post because, something happens. That was your post. And now you got to answer for that. So, we're all set up. This goes on, I'm going to guess a couple of weeks this is going on. And either they hit where we were in, the 10 stations or so that we covered, they managed to hit, somewhere else. So now we're wondering, well, who's feeding these guys information? We went to their likely targets. I don't remember. We had detective supervisors also, so I don't remember what information they had. I think it was more than is likely they're going to hit here. I think it was they either hit here before or this is one of their favorite spots. So they decided the assignments that we were going to be in. We followed through with the stakeout. So our station ends up getting hit one night. The guy at J Street picks up the phone and calls it over like it's happening right now. We shoot out of this little school parking lot or whatever it was, and we're down the block, and I'm saying maybe 2 to 2.5 blocks away from the train station, but it was a straight line. The only problem we had was there was a car coming towards us that we had to let them through, and we didn't have lights and sirens. It wasn't a marked vehicle. It was a plainclothes van vehicle. So now that caused an additional, 30-second delay, whatever it was. So it took us, it may have taken us a minute or two to get there. We get there, we run upstairs, no one in sight. The clerk is on the floor complaining that he got robbed and he may have been assaulted or whatever, or he definitely feared for his life because the guy pointed a long rifle at him, a long gun. I don't think it was a shotgun. I think it was a long gun. But anyway, so now we don't have answers. We should have at least seen the car pulling away from the station. If they had enough time to go upstairs, announce the holdup, complete the holdup, then leave the station, run down the stairs, jump into the vehicle, and drive away. And me and my team, we missed the whole thing. The whole thing. I'm talking about there's nobody running up the block. There's nobody driving up the block. There was a main street there right underneath the J line. I don't recall the name right off the top of my head, but it was a major street. If you're from that part of town, the J line in Brooklyn, you know where I'm talking about. So anyway, we don't see no traffic. We don't see nothing. The guy's long gone. And I think it was more than one. More than one person is long gone. What? Yeah. Now I'm not remembering. So it was, well, obviously it was at least one. But anyway, um, so now command staff shows up and they're yelling at us. What the hell you guys doing? Where were you? Why, this, all this and that. And we were like, dude, we were up the block, block and a half to 2 blocks tops. We had to hide. We couldn't stay underneath the station. It's so isolated here. There's nobody here. We would stand out like a sore thumb, and the stakeout would be useless. So they talked to the guy at J Street, and of course he lied. He said, oh, no, I put it over as soon as I heard it, and this and that. So now we're brought up on charges. We get taken out of patrol. Another unit later on in the future, I don't know if it was another week or so, 10 days, whatever it was, ends up catching this guy. And I think they might have even shot the guy because the guy had a long rifle, whatever. So they were the heroes. We were the skunks. We didn't have an explanation other than we truly knew we did nothing wrong. We truly knew there was a gap there that we could not explain. Well, later on, it was found out that the guy that was assigned to listen to the radios, since it was a monotonous duty and he had been doing it for multiple days, decided to go get something, a coffee to drink or some beverage to drink in the middle of the night. I don't know if that meant he drove away or he went downstairs to a cafeteria. I don't remember the setup, but whatever it was, he wasn't monitoring like he said he was and like he was supposed to be. Now, this is partially command staff fault because they didn't arrange for personals. They didn't arrange a personals when they give you a chance to go use the restroom. Go make a phone call if you have to. Go get a cup of coffee if you need it, especially us. We work in midnights. Coffee was important for a lot of guys, and so command staff is partially to blame for this. I'm saying this many years later. Hopefully there should be no legal issues. It cost me my first chance to be a detective along with somebody else that I haven't contacted for permission. I'm not mentioning names. I'm not doing anything. I'm just saying a general scenario. And we went and the chief, we pled our case to the chief. And we said, look, man, we were there. It's not our fault. We were there. We're monitoring the radio. There's 4 people in the van. We're monitoring the radio. All 4 of us. There's no way all 4 of us did not hear him say it's going down. And when he did say it was going down, it was a false call because the guys had come and left. And we found out later, this is all after the fact that we're finding out. The initial moment was a shock because we can't understand what went wrong. We weren't that far away. Yes, there was a car coming towards us on the street. It was a narrow street, so we had to kind of like give way or something. But whatever it was slight, and you still have the vision in front of you where you can see if somebody's running down the stairs. We're trained anti-crime officers about to become detectives, and we're assigned to the detective division. So we're the cream of the crop. We're the next group up to get promoted. So our future is in this detail, is in these assignments. Somebody at that level doesn't play around with their career. You're a serious person with a serious mission on your mind. Your mission is, I want to get promoted to detective so I can advance my career. So think of that mindset. Well, it turns out our friend over at, and I'm trying to be facetious here, our friend over at J Street is not there. Is not in the room. When he comes back from wherever he was, and I don't think I ever knew how many minutes he was gone, whether he was gone 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't know. Command staff's problem, they didn't have an officer assigned to go upstairs and give him a break, and then that officer would listen, so there would be no break in service. Okay, we covered that. So now, later on, we heard whispers that he didn't even hear the transaction going over at the booth. When he came back, other people that were working in that room, not related to him, told him, yo, that speaker over there, the clerk was yelling. So when he gets that information, he puts it over the radio like it's happening now. And between the call really happening and his call, there was a gap. And like I was explained before, these guys were long gone. So whether it was 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, I don't know if I ever knew that. But regardless, if you've done anti-crime police work, if you've done any kind of stakeouts in your career, or if you're just interested and you've seen it on TV, whatever, we didn't stand a chance. The guys are long gone. The guy we rely on, that command staff put there, didn't give us a message. Cost us our career. A sad day for me and my partner. And, you know, we had to live it with that. That stigma, you know, for a while, you know, not cool. And, you know, that's just the way the career is. Overall, I love my career. I'm very fond of a lot of people I work with. You know, I just thought I'd bring that out to you, give you a perspective of being a subway, a transit police officer in the 80s. And I hope you like the story, or at least, you know, relate to the story, or, you know, and please like and subscribe. It is free, and I do multiple videos. I got over 30 videos, brand new channel. I think I'm like 40 days old, so search around, and I appreciate your attention, and until next time.